Hey guys, my name's Caleb and this is my brother Brady. And as you can probably tell, we're big Ohio State fans. So this year during the college football season, what we're going to do is go through all the Big Ten East games every week and predict those as well as the other premier games in the college football world. At the end of the year, we're going to see who has a better record overall between me and him. If you guys are more than welcome to also leave your predictions in the comments, and each week we'll give a shout out to whoever has the best record. So we're going to start off here with the Big Ten East in week 1 with Ohio State versus Oregon State at home. I think Ohio State wins easy. Oregon State's coming off a 1-1 season, and obviously that's not very good. And I think Ohio State's offense has the potential to be one of the best in school history with Dwayne Haskins and Mike Weber and J.K. Dobbins in the backfield.
And I think the same thing. Ohio State is going to easily win this one. I think that their passing offense is going to be much better this year than last year with Dwayne Haskins. And I think Ohio State's definitely going to win this one.
Right. What do you think about Michigan Notre Dame?
All right, for the Michigan-Notre Dame game. So this one is at Notre Dame, and I have to say I think Michigan is going to win this one. With their new quarterback, Shea Patterson, will be much better than last year when they had John O'Corn and Wilton Spate. And I think their defense is just going to pull it off for them.
I have to agree with you on that one, even though I'm an Ohio State fan, and it being a road night game, which is always tough in South Bend. I think Michigan gets this one done. Brendan Wimbush last year for Notre Dame never impressed me, throwing two interceptions on the road against Miami. And Shea Patterson, like he said, has the chance to be the best QB in the Harbaugh era at Michigan. We'll see. I'm not sold completely yet, but Michigan also returns 9 starters on defense, and as always, they will have one of the best defenses in the country. And let's go ahead and move on to Michigan State at home against Utah State. Again, I think this will be a fairly easy game for Michigan State. Returning Brian Lewerke and L.J. Scott in the backfield. I think they win by 30-plus points. Pretty easy.
Yeah, I have Michigan State winning that one as well. They have their wide receiver from last year, Felton Davis, along with their quarterback, and I think they're going to win by at least 40.
40?
Yeah.
I can see it. What do you think about the Penn State-Appalachian State game?
For Penn, okay, this is obviously another one. Penn State's going to easily win this one. 30-plus points easily. They got their quarterback returning, Trace McSorley, and they have a good defense as well as another good offense, just like last year, even though they lost Saquon Barkley.
Right. I think Penn State wins this one fairly easily. But as a whole this year, I think they take a big step back without Saquon and some big members of their defense.
Yeah.
So I expect them to maybe have an 8-win season, which should not have any problems against Appalachian State. They're not Michigan. And let's move on to the Maryland Terrapins. They play at home against Texas week 1. Last year, Maryland went to Texas and scored 51 points and beat them in a game they weren't supposed to win. This year, I think, will be a lot different. I think with the allegations facing Maryland's coach and Tom Herman's recruits finally starting to mature into leading roles in that team, I think Texas should be able to control that game and win by 3 or so touchdowns.
Yeah, just like he said, off of the allegations against Maryland, the great recruiting class that Texas had this year, and I think Coach Herman will get them prepared, and I think they'll win this one by a good amount.
Right. About the Rutgers game, maybe?
The Rutgers game. So, Rutgers versus Texas State. This one is at Rutgers. I think Rutgers will win, but only by – it's going to be a close one. Neither of them are good. I mean, you've seen Rutgers. They've been the worst team in the Big Ten for the past – every year since they've been in the Big Ten. But I still think they win this one against a non-Power 5 school like Texas State.
Right. Although Rutgers has been the doormat of the Big Ten since they've joined, I think they should fairly easily beat Texas State. At least I hope they do. That'd be a bad look if they didn't. Okay, let's move on to some of the premier games outside the Big Ten East with Auburn against Washington. They play a neutral site game in Atlanta. It's one of the biggest Week 1 games on paper in terms of college football playoff implications. It features two Heisman contenders in Washington's quarterback, Jake Browning, and Auburn's and Jarrett Stidham. Auburn loses some key players, though, and Kerryon Johnson, while Washington keeps their stud tailback in Myles Gaskin. Washington also returns all 4 starters in an already elite secondary. And I think with all of that, plus the experience they have, I think they win by 10 in Atlanta. What do you think, Brady?
I think Auburn's going to win this one. They did lose Kerryon Johnson last year, or they don't have him returning this year. But I think Jarrett Stidham is a fair bit better than Jake Browning, and I think their defense is going to be better than Washington's this year. And I just think that Auburn is they've been more dominant in past years, and I see them winning this one and being a top 10 team at the end of this year.
Okay. First one we disagree on, I think. If you want to go ahead and start off the Miami LSU.
So Miami versus LSU. I'm just going to say I think LSU will win this one, even though a lot of people think Miami, since they have such an easy schedule this year, that they will make it far. But LSU is they got Ohio State transfer Joe Burrow, and I think he's going to be really good. He'll be the best LSU quarterback in the past 4 or so years for sure. And I just think that their defense, they have really good secondary this year, and their defense is always good, and they're going to win this one against Miami.
Right. It being a neutral site game in Dallas, obviously no home field advantage for either team. For me, it's really a close decision. Miami is coming off their best season since the early 2000s, in which they obviously had some elite talent and won a national championship. Their fans are definitely very optimistic about this season. But like he said, I think Joe Burrow running the LSU offense should be a big thing for them. And I think they eventually win by a field goal or so. Although I think it could go either way.
All right, Virginia Tech versus Florida State at Florida State. I think Florida State will win this one because they're returning their quarterback DeAndre Francois. They have their running back still. They have always a good defense, and I think they're going to win this one.
Right. I would agree with him. I think Florida State ultimately does win, being at home. Although they're coming off a bad 7-6 season, the worst season Florida State's had in a while. But I think this year with Willie Taggart, first game as head coach, they're going to come out. Nobody's going to be able to have time to study that new offense yet. I think they'll be able to score some points with both Francois and Blackman at quarterback. They can throw out either one and be successful. And I think their second-year running back in Cam Akers is a stud, and he will jump out onto the scene this year and be a Heisman contender.
Yeah, he was a high recruit in high school, but yeah, he'll be better this year than last year for sure.
Right.
All right, so this is the last game, and this is Louisville at Alabama, and there's no surprise here. I think Alabama will kill Louisville. They're pretty much Alabama's known to kill a lot of teams on week 1 that are supposed to be good, and Louisville was losing their stud quarterback Lamar Jackson, and Alabama is returning running back Damian Harris. They also have Najee Harris as another running back they can throw in. They have two good quarterbacks in Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, and their defense is obviously going to be insane again, and they're going to beat Louisville by 3+ touchdowns.
I agree, although it's not at Alabama. It's a neutral site game in Orlando, I think. But, of course, I'll be rooting for Louisville because why not?
Yeah.
And although there's a quarterback controversy going on in Alabama, it won't matter to me in the end. I think Bama is about a 25-point favorite, but I expect them to win by 40+, and it being not so much of a game.
Yeah, you remember the last quarterback controversy at Ohio State, and that term, and that was just like it's kind of the same situation where you have two good quarterbacks, and it's not that both of them are bad.
Right. Yeah, two good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Choosing between which one can Nick Saban likes the best.
Yep.
And to wrap up this video, we're both going to predict the final standings in the Big Ten East.
Yep.
And see who is closer to the correct standings at the end of the season. Brady, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so the number 1 team in the Big Ten East is going to be Ohio State. I think they'll finish with 11-1. And yeah, the number 2, I have Michigan State. I think they will finish 10-2. I like their roster this year, and their schedule isn't too tough. I just see them losing one. That's going to be to Ohio State. As the number 3 team, I have Michigan. I think they'll do good this year with their new quarterback. They're going to lose to Notre Dame, Michigan State, and Ohio State, though. I have the number 4 team is obviously Penn State. They're not going to have the same season as they have been. They're going to go, like he said, 8-4-ish. And if they finish in the top 25, it's going to be lower than normal. At the number 5 spot, Maryland. They're going to be decent. Nothing special. Maybe like last year. I mean, they beat Texas last year. But they're not going to be good, really. And obviously Rutgers last. They're horrible. That's all I have to say.
Right. All right. I'm not going to predict records, but at number 6, I have Rutgers. Obviously, not a very good team. Probably won't win any games in conference. Expect them to win a couple out of conference. Finish with a bad record once again. 5, have Maryland. Although I could see them being at 6 because of the allegations with their head coach and the uncertainty in the locker room. We'll see how that plays out. I think they're somewhat talented, but probably won't win many games in conference outside of Rutgers. At 4, I got Penn State. And this year, I don't think they will win any big conference games outside of Maryland and Rutgers. I think that'll be a step back for them, like I said. Overall, I can't see them being as an elite as a team as they were last year and the year before. And at 3, I have Michigan State. I think they will challenge both Michigan and Ohio State in the games they play, but I don't think they will be able to win either at the end, although I have been wrong before and they have shocked us multiple times in the past. At 2, I have Michigan. I think it'll be Harbaugh's most successful year as a Michigan head coach. I don't think it'll be their most talented team necessarily, although they will be talented. And I think the 2016 team will still be a little more talented. But I think in terms of standings and have their record, that'll be his most successful team. And then at 1, I have Ohio State. I hope and expect them to run through the conference and hopefully go finish with an undefeated record in the regular season and beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship to get into the college football playoff.
That's definitely ideal.
That'll wrap up the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back between week 1 and week 2 for week 2's predictions.
Yep.